Dave Samuel. I'm a longtime member of this club. In fact, I've been in the club since 1970. The reason I've stayed in Pope and Young is I believe in what they do. I believe in their standards, their ethics, the fair chase, and I think they are really good for bow hunting. As you know, the Pope and Young Club is a record-keeping organization, but for all the years that I've been a member, we've also had a conservation committee and a conservation budget. But it wasn't until 1991 when we became much more meaningful in the area of conservation. Our budget at that time was $3,000. A generous member gave us some money and our budget jumped to $28,000. And that gave us a little bit of a head start on creating a conservation program. The Conservation Committee funds research projects and other things, but with the amount of money we had, it really was hard to compete with anti-hunting groups like the Humane Society of the United States or the Center for Biological Diversity, who had hundreds of thousands of dollars to devote to fight hunting. So your Conservation Committee came up with the idea of getting involved with other hunting, pro-wildlife, and pro-conservation organizations. And we got involved with those clubs and organizations as partners. And that allowed us to do so much more in the area of conservation. One of the partnerships we got involved with was with the Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation. That foundation is the right arm of the Sportsmen's Caucus in Congress. And that allowed us to have a direct input into federal legislation and other bow hunting activities via the Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation. It was a great partnership. A second partnership, and one of many that we had, was with the International Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. That organization is made up of the directors of every state wildlife agency. And so we became the advisor on bow hunting issues to that association. What a great opportunity that was for us to get our name out in front of the state agencies and also make meaningful input into any anti-bow hunting issues that crept up. A third partnership we had, and by the way, all of the partnerships we still have today, this third one was with the American Wildlife Conservation Partners. Our ally, the Boone and Crockett Club, in 1991, held a strategic planning session at their office in Montana. As the conservation chairman, I was invited, and several other of our Pope and Young members also were invited to attend that meeting. There were representatives there from 35 conservation and hunting organizations from around the country. Out of that meeting was created the American Wildlife Conservation Partners. What the partners do is develop a strategy for keeping wildlife and conservation and hunting healthy in the United States. So one of the ways that they do that is they write letters to congressmen on any wildlife or conservation piece of legislation or the need for some wildlife conservation legislation. Now, the Pope and Young Club could write a letter, of course, but when we sign off on a letter written by the partners and is signed by all 35 partners, it makes a lot more impact for what we can do as a bow hunting club. And finally, a big factor in the importance of the partners is that the American Wildlife Conservation Partners send and provide direct advice to any new president taking office on who we think they should appoint as Secretary of the Department of Interior or Director of the Fish and Wildlife Service. And it turns out a lot of times our recommendations are adopted. How important is that? And how neat is it that your club is involved with this partnership? As I've noted, your club is a record-keeping organization, but as you can see, in the 1990s, we became a much stronger conservation program as well. And it just goes hand in hand with our record-keeping to make your club the one that represents the bow hunters of America.